Fox News is now streaming live on Fox One. When it matters most, turn to the voices you trust. We go beyond the headlines, bringing you the stories you won't hear anywhere else. Live coverage, sharp analysis, real perspective. At home or on the go, stay connected when it counts. Stream Fox News on Fox One. Download today.
Listen, all you New Yorkers. Excuse me, taxi. Okay, we're looking around.
This is the 77 WABC minicast.
Peter King. I love the title. I know your story. I'm in Queens now. Queens to Congress. This, Peter King, promises to be an inspirational, great New York book.
Well, thank you, Sid. I hope so. I mean, that'd be great if it does turn out that way. If I could just mention one thing. You just mentioned that detective, Adam Frassi from the NYPD.
Yeah.
He actually lived in my neighborhood in Seaford. His father, John Frassi, was a great guy. He was a Republican committeeman when I was head of the Republican club of that area. It's a great family, and there was a real tragedy, and whatever Total Towers did for him, it was certainly well-deserved. So to say
no, I agree. I'm glad you brought that up because I did hear the Nassau County part. I actually thought about you, Peter, on Monday night. We flew back from Florida, and Danielle, not because of the tragedy at LaGuardia, she made these plans initially. She made the right move. We flew into MacArthur Airport on Monday night in Islip, and I drove by Seaport Oyster Bay. I said, hey, Pete, it was about 8 o'clock on Monday night. But I got to tell you, when I was in Florida, for example, I like Fort Lauderdale's airport, but it's busy. Miami's a mess. It's the worst of them all. I'd fly out of West Palm Beach, and I loved it. And for me, the equivalent to West Palm Beach here in New York is Islip. Forget about Newark or Kennedy or LaGuardia. MacArthur Airport, it's small. It's easy. You get your bags. It's not inundated with people. To me, that's the best way to travel.
Yeah, but do me a favor, when you pass on the Seaford Oyster Bay, don't stop at my house, okay? I mean, you got me nervous there when you mentioned that. I mean,
well, the last time I was in your house, in your den with all your beautiful Notre Dame, I know you were just there, all your Notre Dame memorabilia.
I'm here now. I'm here now.
Oh, you're still there?
I'm in a hotel room in the shadow of the Golden Dome. I think it's almost sacrilegious talking to you because I never know what you're going to say. What obscenity is going to come out or pornographic.
I'm not going to say anything bad. Actually, the last time I was in your home was quite an emotional day. You and Ro invited Danielle and I and Bill O'Reilly to the Jonathan Diller funeral. And I just met Stephanie for the first time last week at that beautiful event put on by Mike Vandenberg and Lisa, the Promise of Hope Foundation out in Suffolk County. And, boy, she's a lovely girl. So what exactly are you doing at Notre Dame the last couple of days?
Well, actually, my son Sean is with us, with me, Rosemary, and Sean. And Sean is what's called an affiliated scholar. He comes out to Notre Dame several times during the year to teach a course at the business school. He got an MBA about 25 years ago. And so this time, Rosemary and I decided to come along because I had gone to law school here. Rosemary had gone to St. Mary's College. So it's good just to walk around, see some old friends, see the Golden Dome. Maybe I'll go over and tell Marcus Freeman, a few plays for the football team so he doesn't get screwed next year again the way they did in the Final Four or whatever it is now, Final 12. But anyway, that's great. It's great to be here. It really is. And on my book, what that's about is, it was actually your friend Melissa got me started on it 5 years ago. So you got to start writing all this stuff down. So I started, once I got into it, I couldn't stop. I got up to 210,000 words. Then I cut it down to 140. And now a good friend of mine, Tom Hopke, who used to be at HarperCollins, he played baseball in St. John's. He's a real baseball maven. He knows everything about baseball, and that's how we bonded. But he's a good friend of Peter Janae, who is an editor who puts manuscripts into final form. So right now it's 140,000 words. They got to get it down to 100. And I had a long Zoom conference with Peter the other day. And basically what he does is he suggests things to be taken out, some additions I could make. And if he gets it down to 100,000, which I'm sure we will, and it's in its final form. They also format it the right way. Maybe they move some things around. But it'll be my work, but with his, obviously, editing going on. And he's had good success with publishers. And, the title, The Road to God Knows Where, is from an old Irish folk song, which says something about the Irish. We're not sure where we're going, but as long as we're all together on the one road, somehow we'll get there.
Love that.
And that's what this is. I mean, whoever thought, when I'm growing up in Sunnyside with 1,000 people living in apartment houses on one block, and I knew nobody in politics. I had no political connections. My father was NYPD, and that somehow I would break into the National Republican machine with Al D'Amato and Joe Margiotta. And, it's just been a ride in so many places along the way. I never would have gotten there without a few breaks. So just end on this one story, which is sort of indicative of not knowing where you're going, but somehow getting there. To get anywhere in national politics, you have to be what's called a local leader, an executive leader in your community. Once you're on that, then you're on the ruling board, and you work with the county chairman. But to get there is tough. There's a lot of competition. I was running against the building commissioner, and it was a total of 32 votes. So I had to get 17 votes. And I had it all added up. It was going to be very, very close. And there's one guy who was supporting me. His wife calls me in a panic. Oh, my God, David is dying. Let's take him to the hospital. My first thought was, don't die before I get over there. I get to the house, and I get him to sign a proxy as they're putting him in the ambulance. Now, if he hadn't signed that proxy, I never would have become the local leader.
Wow.
I never would have made the executive committee. I never would have been a controller or a congressman or anything else. And I wouldn't be on your show today. Which maybe that's a blessing. I don't know.
Well, it sounds like it's going to be great. Melissa Zim she's no dummy. She's a smart girl. So congratulations.
She's no dummy. She tells me how to write it, and she does nothing. Except say, you're still writing it. Classic Melissa. She gets people to do all the work for her. But anyway.
I think it's going to be a very, very big deal when this thing comes out. And again, if you don't know about Peter King's story, it is pretty fascinating what he's accomplished over the years, and unlikely, like a lot of us. And he's done an amazing job in politics now, like we said, for over 40 years. So congratulations on this. But your work is not done. You may be writing a book, and you may be out of Congress, but being on this show every week and being on with John Catsimatidis as often as you are, and, showing up at big events all over Nassau County, whether it's...
Right, also Dominic Carter.
Dominic Carter, right? Dominic, yep. Dom does a great job. Showing up at all these big events, being there for Bruce Blakeman, being there for Mazi Pilip, being there for all of your friends and Joe Cairo out there in Nassau County. So your work is not nearly done. And I know you've been talking a lot on your social media, Peter, the last couple of days about this poor girl gunned down in Chicago, murdered. And again, the Democrats looking for a reason to blame Trump, talking about immigration reform, and Brandon Johnson talking about, hey, ICE is still no good. Even with a dead 18-year-old girl, they can't find it in their hearts to say the right thing.
No, and these are the same people, both in politics and the media, who when George Floyd died, they turned it into a national disaster. I mean, we had fires everywhere, cities in flames. The whole country had to change because of one guy who was a criminal. It was tragic he was killed, but he was a criminal. Here you have an innocent girl, wrong place, wrong time. She may have disturbed the guy. You may have been excited. I mean, what madness. It shows where their real thinking is. And their real worry right now is not that girl or her funeral or her family. I think she was in Yorktown Heights, just outside the city. Is this going to hurt other illegal immigrants? Is this going to cause some kind of anti-immigrant feeling? They worry more about illegal immigrants than they do about innocent young people killed in this country, or they care more about George Floyd. I think it's an absolute disgrace, and I really blame so many people. The Democratic Party is so far gone, and then the media, the way they talk about it. It's just, to me, if this had been some different type situation, if that had been an illegal immigrant who was shot by a cop, you would have had, everything would have come to a halt. Give it advice, defund the cops, all that BS would have gone on. But instead, it's a young girl, innocent girl from New York, out in Chicago, in the beautiful section of Chicago, getting shot down in the prime of life, even before the prime of life. And somehow she was in the wrong place at the wrong time. It's implying that she shouldn't have been there. It's absolutely disgraceful and terrible.
Another story, I had Donna Rotuno live in these studios in the 6 a.m. hour, hours ago. She's on Fox News all day. This cop, yeah, she's great. This cop in Boston, this guy carjacks a woman and a kid, and he's physical. And then when the cops surround him, he starts ramming the car that he stole into the cops. And eventually the cop shoots him and kills him, which is good. That's one less scumbag we got to deal with. And what happens? They bring the cop up on charges. You know that Mayor Wu in Boston, she's every bit as bad as, not as bad, but in the same group as Mamdani, Brandon Johnson, Karen Bass. They're all no good. Sanctuary City, Blue City mayors are all no good. And not only that, but now it turns out, I guess, the cop is white and the perp was black. So now they're going to turn it into a whole racist, talking about George Floyd, a whole racist situation in Boston, when the truth is, a criminal carjacked a mother and kid and tried to run through the police car, ramming it. The bad guy, once again, is becoming the victim, Peter, in Boston.
Yeah, it's really tragic. It's tragic for the cop. And also, you see why so many cops around the country, certainly cops in big cities, really are. They do their 20 years and they're out, or young cops don't want to stay there, and they go to places like North Carolina. I remember my daughter's down in Charlotte now, and there's a local police department down there, right outside Charlotte. And I went over there to just say hello to the cops, expecting to hear a lot of Southern accents. There's 33 cops, 11 of them are from the NYPD.
Wow.
I mean, it was just an example. And, it's DeSantis down in Florida actually actively recruiting New York cops to get down there, and you understand why. I mean, it's easier for you and I. We're doing okay. We're at a different stage of life. I'm in a much later stage of life than you are. But if you're a young cop in your 20s and 30s, you want to really plan out a career for you and your family, do you really want to put yourself at the mercy of some crazy prosecutor like Alvin Bragg or a mayor like Mendami? No, you don't. And you want to do the job. The job is dangerous enough without your own people shooting at you. And that, unfortunately, is what happens in so many of these big cities.
LifeLock, how can I help?
The IRS said I filed my return,
But I haven't.
1 in 4 tax-paying Americans has paid the price of identity fraud.
What do I do?
My refund, though.
I'm freaking out.
Don't worry, I can fix this.
LifeLock fixes identity theft guaranteed and gets your money back with up to $3 million in coverage.
I'm so relieved.
No problem. I'll be with you every step of the way.
1 in 4 was a fraud-paying American. Not anymore. Save up to 40% your first year. Visit LifeLock.com/podcast. Terms apply.